Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to join us for this Envisioneer and Buildertrend integration webinar. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us for this special webinar. This webinar is a part of a series that we're doing on different integrations that Cadsoft has. You may have joined us in the previous weeks for a BIM and VR presentation where we showed you how you can take the Envisioneer model, open it up into our VR virtual reality, going through Oculus and HTC Vive and exporting it out to our VR app. This week, we're going to focus in on Buildertrend, one of our partners, and we have Paul Worth joining us today from Buildertrend. He's going to show us, when I build the Envisioneer model, how we can take that information and send it directly over to Buildertrend to use. So as we get started, if anyone has any questions during the webinar portion, please use the GoToMeeting console that should be on the right-hand side of your screen. You can type in questions in that screen, and at the end of our presentation, we'll be able to answer your questions for you. I want to start off, first of all, by giving a little introduction for those of you, just to remind you about BIM, what is BIM, and why this is important for us to be able to send this information out to products like Buildertrend. Well, if we look throughout history, when people first started drafting and doing design work for the housing market, it was a process of 2D hand drafting. So it was documenting the design so that we could ultimately build it out on site. And then it progressed into 2D CAD drafting, where we optimized that process so that we could draw more efficiently, be able to erase lines, make changes on the fly in a 2D CAD package, so just for easier file sharing and reproduction purposes. From there, we went into 3D models, so it became an efficient way of communication so that we could communicate with our clients so they could really understand the design and see it in that 3D model. Well, today we've gotten into BIM, and this has gotten us into a process of collaboration where we can take the information that we can build into a model and be able to share it by importing and exporting information out into other stakeholders that have an interest in the information that we can achieve from the model itself, like our friends at Buildertrend that are going to take and manage all of the materials and the time management on the project itself. So that's why we've gotten into this integration series of our webinars to show the importance of the BIM model and all the information that you're going to be able to pull off of it. So we're going to do a couple of demonstrations. I'm going to create a BIM model, and then we're going to show the power of integration with great software like Buildertrend when I pass that information off to them. So I'm just going to start up my Envisioneer, and we're going to draw a model that we're going to pass the information over to Buildertrend. So as I draw the model, I'm going to highlight to you the information and how it's obtaining all of the information about materials that we're going to send off. So I'm going to start off at the top of the screen here by picking on the wall tool. And when I do that, you'll notice that this catalog panel to the right will update and show a variety of different wall styles that we can choose from. So I'm going to select one of those wall styles. I'll do a 2x6 construction, and I'll use cement board siding. I'm going to move my cursor out onto the drawing screen area, and when I do that, I can start drawing the project itself. So I can just left click and then start drawing, and you can see the dimensions as we're used to, and I'll type in that this is a 25-foot wall and just kind of point and click to create the model that we're going to pass off. Once I do that, Paul, I'm starting to hear some background noise on your side, so you might want to put your phone on mute at this point.
Yeah, I heard that as well. Here, let me get it on mute.
Okay. When we have this model drawn, each one of the objects that we see here has information behind them. So if I look at this wall as an example, I'm going to look at its properties. Under the Quantity tab, these are all of the pieces of materials that we're going to pass over to Buildertrend. So we've assembled the cement board siding, the OSB, the sheathing tape, stick nails, drywall, bad insulation, the nails, primer and paint, and then just some general measurements. All of that is being calculated as soon as I start drawing that wall. Also in the information about that wall, you can see that it's a framed wall and that it's pulling off this framed member called a 2x6. That 2x6 has information behind it as well. It knows all the purchased item lengths that it's available in that I would like to pick from. So it has my pre-cut stud lengths, my 8-footers, my 10-footers, 12s, and each of these will have rules associated to them. So if I look at my pre-cut stud length, you can see down here in the lower right of this dialog box that it can only be used for a stud. And if I look at my 8-foot piece, it can't be used for blocking or plate material. So all of these different usages and rules are going to allow it to pick the right member size for what I'm drawing. So if I'm putting on a wall and it's got plates and studs and cripples, it's going to know which pieces to grab out of those pre-cut lengths. So I'm going to grab the door tool and I'm going to grab in some doors here. Let me just grab in maybe this double French door, and I'll center it in this wall, and I'll center it here along this back wall as well, and I'll grab in some windows. When we're doing this, what we're also creating is the hole in the wall that's going to be framed around it as well. So as I'm putting this in, this is also going to get header material that we're going to be passing off to Buildertrend as well. I'll put a roof on our structure. I'll grab an 812 hip roof. Left click once inside it. It creates our roof for us. Let's shake that up a little bit. I'll create a couple sides and make them into gables. And we've got our gable roof over our structure. So if we take a look at that quickly in a 3D model view, so far we've created our 2x6 walls with our cement board siding on it, and we've got our roof on and our windows and our doors in the structure. If I go up to the View pull-down menu and I go to Framing and Display the Framing, it will show me all the framing that's involved in that as well. Every stick of lumber that you see will be appearing in our list, and we're going to pass that over to Buildertrend later on in our presentation. So I'm just going to go back and turn all of that back on again so we can see the model. This is where in our past presentations we've went up and told it that we then wanted to go into our presentation mode for our VR modes, or this is where you can then start exporting that information out to the panoramic views if you were in last week's with our BIM presentation and going out to the VR different presentations as well. I'm going to put that back into 2D, and now that we have a basic model drawn, we're going to add further details to it as well. We're going to look at some interior components like kitchen cabinetry, furniture, electrical elements that we will also pass over. I'm going to go back under our building tab, put in a ceiling by the entire perimeter, just a 1/2-inch ceiling, and then I'm going to use, just for time's sake today, I'll be using our kitchen builder that will allow me to drop in the kitchen very quickly. So I'll do a U-shaped kitchen. I'll include some appliances and plumbing fixtures into that. And I'll use just our white flat shaker kitchen cabinetry. And I'll do our rotation here to insert it just in this area right here. So now we have our kitchen in the space. I'll go back to interiors. I'll grab on some lighting. I'll put right there, and now that that's there, maybe what I'll also do is quickly put in some island cabinets under that area, 36-inch bases here, and let's just place those all together there. Now that we've got the basis of that kitchen in, we'll place a camera right inside, and then we can go for a walk inside, and we can manipulate this, as you're aware. So if I don't want to order any of the extra cabinets that we did have in the wizard, I can remove them, and I'll grab a window bring it into the space, and then I'm going to customize it. When I grab onto this window and start stretching it, it's intelligent enough to know that I'm changing these dimensions. So when I look at the properties of that window, it's going to reflect that. So when we do quantify that window, it's going to order, and the name that's going to appear is my new name for that window. So it's going to update that information for us. When we're looking at all of the information that I've drawn so far, if I go up to Tools and Analyze and hit Generate Project Estimate, all of that information is brought into a list. So here's the list of everything that we've drawn so far. Our ground floor wall framing elements, you can see the header material, the studs, the jack studs, the plate material that it's grabbing from our 2x6 selections, our pre-cut stud lengths. Coming down into our roof framing, we've got our stick nails, our sheathing nails, our drip edge, asphalt shingles, our openings, there's our windows coming through, and we've got our house wrap going on, the cement board siding, we're using a 7-inch reveal, so it's going to give me the linear footage of pieces I'm going to require, my island light that I put into our kitchen. All of this information translates into this list. And as we keep building upon this model, all of those objects are going to start putting themselves into that list. If I look at a cabinet as an example, it will also have that same quantity tab. This quantity tab is what's going to tell us to include it in the quantity, so it appears in that list and ultimately gets passed over to Buildertrend. And it includes information such as the part number and the division that we're also keying in with our Buildertrend integration. So these values in here are what we're going to be passing over. It's also the price. So if you input the price into Envisioneer for all of these various items, they'll be passed over to Buildertrend as well. As you're aware, when we first ship out Envisioneer to all of our clients around the world, we keep the prices set at 0 so that it's reflective and you can change them to your local pricing. Because what might be a good price in your local area might not be in another part of the world, let alone the next neighborhood over because of price changes. So we keep that at 0, but if they are filled in, that information will also flow over to Buildertrend as well. Put this back into 2D. Zoom in on this area. I'm just going to flip that door so it's back inside the house, and I'm going to go to our landscape tab. We can also pass over our decking information. So if I build a deck in this area, quickly go through and just put in a simple square deck here, all of the information about that deck will be passed over. So when we built that deck, it recognized that I picked my first points inside the wall. It's got a ledger board there. All of the joist, the beam, the column information, it's all can be visualized, and it can all be quantified. So if I double click on that deck and add in things like railing, that railing will also be included in the quantity information that's going to be passed off. If I go further than that and add the deck stairs, they too will be included in the information. What's unique about all of that is it's also going to link itself to our terrain, as you're aware. So if I do alter the terrain and slope down this site and say that it's going to go down 5 feet, from this point to here, the deck stairs are going to increase, and that increase is going to be reflected in the amount of materials that I'm going to pass over to Buildertrend as well. Now we've got the house floating up in the air. So let's talk about the foundation and the information that we're going to be able to grab out of our foundation to pass over as well. Back under the Building tab, I'm going to go to the Floor and Foundation Builder. We'll put a foundation system underneath the house itself. We'll do a full basement so we can see all the information and all the possible materials that can be passed over. I'll select on walls, and I'll choose the 8-inch concrete poured walls. Now, when I look, and I'll just double-click on that wall to bring up its quantity information, you can see that with the 8-inch concrete wall, we've assembled poured concrete, damp proofing with it, anchor bolts, and a sill gasket. This information that we've assembled could also include things like rebar. So if you also wanted to include that, that's more information that you can assemble here. I'm going to click OK and OK. The floors, 4-inch concrete floor. Think about the materials for the floor. Not only can we give you the volume of concrete, but if you're going to be heating that floor and you wanted to be able to put the radiant floor heating mats in there, we can quantify those too in formulas and pass that information over as well. So when you're thinking about the materials that you're going to be using, think about all of those various materials. We'll be able to create a formula to capture them, and then you'll be able to send them directly over. And that's also true with the footings, not only the concrete, but rebar chairs to put in, that can all be quantified as well, crushed gravel around them. There's lots of formulas that we can apply and do for those. And if they're calculated like that, we're going to pass that information out. So I'm just going to hit finish. It's automatically going to put our foundation underneath this model. And now that we've got a full model, right from the footing all the way up to the roof peak, that's what we're going to pass over to Buildertrend. So to do that, I'm going to come up here again to the Tools pull-down menu. We're going to analyze the model, and when we analyze the model, we're going to go back to generate the project estimate. In this dialog box, the same one we were in earlier that was showing us all of the various material that we've assembled throughout the model, right from that footing all the way to the roof, we've shown it in one template format called Quote Generator that breaks it down into construction phases for us. When we want to pass this information over to Buildertrend, we click on this list and we see Buildertrend in our list. We pick on Buildertrend and it puts it into the formatting that Buildertrend likes to receive the information in. So you can see the accounting codes, the description, the quantity, the unit price, and the amount. So again, if you did have the prices figured out for all of the different elements and updated your Envisioneer catalog to include the prices, those would flow through here and again out to Buildertrend. From there, I would just save the file and then I will pass it over to Buildertrend. I've already sent over a file to Paul based on a model very similar to this one. So Paul is going to pick up at this point and show us how he's going to take the information that we've assembled from our Envisioneer catalog over to Buildertrend. So Paul, I'm going to make you the presenter at this point. And everyone, I'd like to introduce you to Paul Worth from Buildertrend, and he is going to present to you Buildertrend and the information that we've passed over from Envisioneer. Paul, take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Chantel. I appreciate that. So what we're looking at right now is the Buildertrend interface. So obviously, if we have some clients of Buildertrend on the webinar right now, you're going to be very familiar with this look. Essentially, what this is the your summary screen. So over to the left here, you're looking at a list of all the current jobs you're working on right now. So there's a couple different entry points for the Cadsoft integration, and one's going to be with a job that we've started. So this might be a new home that we're actually building for a client or that we're speccing out that we know that we're going to go with. We also give you the ability to actually do this on a lead status as well. So again, if we're working with a potential client, this is going to give us the ability to bring in a Cadsoft plan and that BIM model into the actual estimate before they even become a client of ours for sure. So you got two different entry points. I'll show you both. They're they're both really, really simple. So Chantel did an amazing job of showing all the different functionality and features from the Cadsoft point of view. Our integration is actually really quite simple. So if we go over here to our lead opportunities, we're going to see all of our prospects right now. So of course, like with everything in Buildertrend, you're really going to have some flexibility in how you label things and define and tag your prospects here. Let's say I'm working with a couple named James and Emily Smith. Well, I'm actually going to pull up their profile here. And within this profile, it's going to give me the option to actually create an estimate or a proposal. They're kind of one and the same when it comes to Buildertrend. So if we look at these proposals here, I'm actually just going to create a new proposal. So let me just move this around. There's a couple of screens here. Actually, let me just open up a different person. So let's just do a Robert and Olivia Williams here. So I'm just going to click on this new proposal here. So really we're going to start with a blank proposal or a blank estimate. We've done all this work in Cadsoft, and so the integration point's pretty simple. Let me get this off there. Basically, you just hit this import button at the top right of your screen. You can see we do have a number of different partners out there. One of the most common ones, and you saw with Chantel's demonstration, a really great product is Cadsoft here. I simply just click on the import from Cadsoft button, and then that file that we've exported out of Cadsoft basically is going to be right there on your computer. So I'm just going to pick that up. I'm going to select the file I want, and it's going to allow me just to start the import process by hitting the next button. So at this point, as it says here, it's going to give you the option to designate your columns you wish to import by selecting the appropriate value from the drop-down list. And so this is really where we map up the different columns and drop-downs that we have in Buildertrend's estimating proposal feature with what you've just generated from Cadsoft. You can see it's pretty basic stuff here. So we've got cost code. We've got here notes. Quantity is going to match up with quantity. Unit cost and unit price are going to match up, and then total cost and the amount match up there. So we've got that. Again, this is all just zeroed out just for demonstration's sake. But you can see once I hit this next button, it's then going to do a very important feature, which is going to cross-reference any of the cost codes or numeric values from Cadsoft that we didn't find an exact match for with our cost codes. So instead of just automatically importing those without any real direction or mapping it to a specific cost code, it's going to give you this great wizard here that allows you just to simply hit a drop down and go find that matching cost code for 1023. So maybe we actually added a 3 there accidentally, so that could be matched up there. And so it's a really simple drop down and search for the different things you're looking for. So once we've gone through that wizard to make sure we've got every single one mapped up correctly, we then have the next button, and they're going to give us a final screen here just to confirm all of the unmapped values right there. And then finally, we're going to hit the next button, and it's going to show us that our import has been completed successfully. It's going to tell you that how many of the records were imported, any things that were skipped for any reason, and you can actually click the following Excel icon to actually get the spreadsheet, or you actually can just click on View All Estimates Now, which is going to allow you to view that within the Buildertrend platform. Now, both of this area of Buildertrend in a lead status, or if it's in a job status where you've actually created a job, it's going to give you this combination of a worksheet estimate and then allow you to actually transfer that into a forward-facing client proposal that's going to make your company look really, really clean, simple, and tech-friendly. So this is all the information that we've actually just brought in from Cadsoft. Now, at this point, we actually have the ability to add notes or details to any part of this. So we're getting our base cost and information and quantity from Cadsoft, but you can see as I continue to add, let's say, scope of work, both for the forward-facing proposal for the client or maybe internal notes for our team here, it's constantly saving this as we go. So I don't have to continually remember to hit that save button. Buildertrend is going to do that intuitively for us as we go. It even, depending on your permission level, it even allows you to come in here and adjust some of the quantities or dollar amounts that were brought in from Cadsoft, and then add an additional markup level for you as well. So let's say that on this line item I wanted to add 15% of a markup. I hit the percentage, add 15, or I can even do that across all of our line items by hitting this drop down right here which says markup across. So pretty straightforward stuff there in terms of the worksheet. Again, we're getting most of our information from Cadsoft, but then we have the ability to add to or adjust that information once it's in Buildertrend based on our permission level. Now we're going to take 2 more steps. And so what we have the ability to do is then format this with any introductory text. So a lot of our Buildertrend users have a preloaded introductory text when it comes to their proposal, like thank you for requesting a quote from Contour Homes. All of their maybe contact information, payment terms can be added both here and at the end. You actually have the ability to really easily decide what to display. you may not want the client to see your total cost, your markup percentage, whatever it is. You really have a lot of flexibility here. And then for your final proposal, we're going to put some company information on here, prospect, client information. We're going to have this formatted the exact way you want with any final language down here as well. So just to give you a better look at maybe a fuller real-life proposal, we'll pull up this Amy Hill lead here and go right back into that proposals. So let's say we were actually brought this initial information in from Cadsoft. That's going to be our worksheet. Then we have the ability to format. That's going to decide how much of this we want the client to see in that forward-facing proposal. And you can see here with this preview, this is going to highlight that not only can you do just the basic information from Cadsoft, but you actually have the ability to bring in photos of the products, for instance, or maybe any photos that you've gotten from your Cadsoft products, any of those designs. You can attach any documents, photos, and you also have the ability to do some legal language or terminology at the bottom here as well. All can be templated, so if you have the same terminology every single proposal, you'll be able to do that. So just to really round out the 2 integration points, those again would be any prospects. And so all of that integration would be under our lead opportunities area. And you actually have unlimited lead opportunities in Buildertrend. So for our base level of pricing, you can do 1,000 quotes like that a year. Once you actually win a job, then it's going to show up in our job menu here. Now, a lot of times we might start jobs in a design phase, and so that's why we give you the functionality very similar to what we just saw here within the full job under estimates. Again, it's going to be a very straightforward, simple integration. We're going to have the import button in the exact same place you saw it within the lead deal there. We're going to be able to click on Cadsoft, and then we're going to be able to go through that same simple wizard to bring in that information. Any questions about that from anybody there?
Let me just check our questions portal here to see if we have any specific about that process. They seem to be more on the information they want to know about the quantities on our end at this point. But if anybody has any questions, remember to type them into the GoToMeeting console. And in the GoToMeeting console, those questions get forwarded to me and I'll be able to answer them. So if there's a question about Buildertrend or a question about the information we're formulating in Cadsoft before we bring that over, type those up and we'll be able to get to those at the end of the webinar.
Yeah. And Chantel, if you want to switch me over to that Mac profile I have,
I will.
And I can actually give you guys a little bit more of a fuller look at what Buildertrend is, just kind of top to bottom. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty details here, but we would like to give you a little bit of a tour in this. So we're going to be looking at the exact same thing here. You should be seeing the same profile here for Contour Homes. This is actually going to give me the ability to show you guys the app as well, now that I have it on my Mac too. So just taking a step back, Buildertrend is a cloud-based construction tool or cloud-based construction management tool for typically residential contractors, anywhere from small home improvement companies all the way up to custom home builders or production builders. Really, the idea is creating a space that everybody can communicate on, and all information can be entered and shared on one single platform rather than being spread out via text message, phone calls, emails, and all the other different types of apps you can download. One of the biggest benefits of something like Buildertrend is that it's both available to you from a computer as well as on the go. So if you've got a mobile phone or tablet, you can actually download the Buildertrend app for Android or iOS, and everybody in your team can be connected. So you can invite in all employees, subcontractors, vendors, even the clients. And so as Chantel mentioned in her presentation, really any stakeholder on the job can be added to Buildertrend at no additional cost. And then you can actually have control over the permission level of every stakeholder to make sure you're only sharing with them the correct information you want. And so you can see here with this dashboard, I log in. The whole product can be customized to each company's logo, color scheme, even adding a login box on your website so people go to your website to log in. as I mentioned, over here to the left is a job site menu. So any home that you're in construction on right now or job is listed here. You can control, the names of every job. Once you actually select a job over here to the left, and we'll just look at the self-custom home for this presentation, you actually then have the ability to go look at any of our features, which are organized up here in 5 categories. So we've actually already looked at our lead opportunity feature, which is a pretty standard CRM, right? So if you're a home builder or remodeler, when people contact you to do work with them, we're going to give you a place where you can enter their phone numbers and email addresses, log conversations, send out automatic emails, remind you when to follow up with people, and then, of course, do an estimate or a proposal, which can be brought in seamlessly from Cadsoft. Now, once we've actually converted a lead to a job, we actually have a feature here when you set up the self-custom home to actually give a login to your client, Andrew and Jennifer Self. And this is a huge advantage to the Buildertrend users out there, because essentially what this is doing is you're creating a space here within your company to give your clients access to job information before, during, and after the job. Where right now, if you're not using something like Buildertrend, there really only recourse is to call or email you or your team, which is what you want to do. But in addition to that, Buildertrend is going to give them the ability at work, at home, on the go, to log in and get information they need or ask you questions. And everything we do on our platform is going to be logged with a time and a date stamp, so there's no he said, she said, or unclarity about what's going on in the job. In terms of the functionality that we touch on within your business, they're really organized in these other 4 categories. And so in our project management category, you're going to have great features like scheduling to coordinate where your subs and vendors go, daily job site management, task management, even the ability to manage change orders with electronic signatures so they get done every time and are recorded the right way. We've got a place for files. So anybody who's used Dropbox, Google Docs, or Drive, this is a place within Buildertrend, automatically organized by job, that you could upload any sort of document, photo, video, PDF, Word file, Excel file into our system, into our cloud. We give you unlimited storage space in our cloud, and you can share that with anybody you want. Our messaging tools give you the ability to finally organize automatically your emails that you're getting every day. So they automatically organize your emails by job and can have those tracked from the beginning of the job on out. And everything you do within this system is actually going to be integrated with your normal emails. You don't have to change your email whatsoever. And finally, financially, you actually have the ability to track your estimated versus actual cost in Buildertrend. So if that Cadsoft information serves as your estimated cost, you can actually use our work order, purchase order area to agree to actual cost of your subs and vendors and see that balance of job costing there. Those features integrate with both QuickBooks and Xero. You get unlimited users. You can invite in all your subs and vendors. Our Buildertrend coaches here will actually help you set everything up, and everything comes available off the mobile app as well. Whereas if you're on the job site and you need to go to the self-custom home to check the schedule, you'll have the ability to do that, not only just view the schedule, but if you need to have HVAC rough move a couple days, you can do that with a click of your finger, and not only will it move that schedule, but it will move every other item beyond that and give you the option to update all the people associated with those items. So it would send out a notification via text or email to your HVAC guy, your electrical guy, your installation guy, and so on and so forth. It can be done right from the phone, or it can be done in real time right here from your computer. It just depends on where you're at. So overall, Buildertrend is a cloud-based system that really takes the things that you're already doing as a home building construction company and giving you, employees of the company, subs and vendors and clients, the ability to do all of those things in one place and anytime you want to do them, so from the field or from the office, which is really important. So I can dive into some more features. Chantel, how much time did we allot for this? I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
Yeah, if you could do you could have like 5 minutes, and then we'll leave the last 15 minutes for anyone's questions. So 5 more minutes, and then we can, if you've got lots of features to show, that's fantastic, and then we'll dive into questions after that.
Okay, cool. So let's show a couple things that really connect with people. There are a couple of pain points. Just if you're in construction business, it just is what it is. These are things that are difficult to manage if you don't have a really clean-cut process. One of those things is change orders, right? So when a change order happens on a new home or a remodel, what Buildertrend does is, again, it gives you and your team the ability to have one place to create, submit, and get signatures on change orders. So let's say we were walking the job site with a client recently and they said, you know, how much would it be to add a skylight? Well, right from the mobile app, it gives the employee or owner of that company the ability to write in a title. It's going to automatically mark when it was entered. You can actually eventually put in a price. If you know the price right away, you can enter it, or you can just save it and enter a price once you actually figure it out. You can attach pictures of the skylight or a drawing of some kind. You can have a description here, have it preloaded with some of your legal language. And what's really great about this is everywhere in Buildertrend where it applies, you'll see what's called a discussion area. So let's say the client is reviewing the information you sent to them about the skylight, and they have a question about the color. Is the casing going to be gray or black? Right? So right away, when I post this as the homeowner, somebody in your office is going to get a push notification right here to their desktop computer, or you're actually going to get a notification right here on your that says, hey, Andrew and Jennifer Self asked you a question about that change order. Why don't we answer it right away so we don't delay the process of getting a signature? And so within this actual feature, Install Skylight on a self-custom home, not only are we seeing the latest question they asked, but maybe we've gone through a series of questions. We have it right here. We're giving you the ability right through the app to go ahead and answer the question to confirm the correct color. And right away, the client is wowed by your customer service because you've gotten back to them right away. You've actually answered a question right away. And then you've also empowered the client to feel good about signing off on this change order so we can go ahead and order that change order and add it to the total cost of the job. You have the ability to sign off on change orders and selections and a few different things in Buildertrend, both from a desktop as well as from your mobile app. So let's say you're walking the job site with a client or they're out to dinner with their friends. They get notified that there's a change order waiting their approval, or maybe they're reminded automatically by Buildertrend that there's a change order they haven't approved yet. They can actually just pull up the app. They can scroll through all the information, and they have the ability right here on the phone to sign for that change order with their finger. Looks like it kind of stopped there. There we go. So whether you are on the phone or you are in a computer, you have the ability to sign off on change orders, which is really powerful. Same thing goes for selections, right? So if we've gotten an estimate in there, and really we just put a placeholder here for custom cabinetry because we don't know exactly what they're going to do, but we do know we've allotted them $20,000. We actually have the ability to put in an allowance, put in a deadline, so it's automatically reminding you and your clients the decisions that need to be made, when they need to be made, and keeping them on time. We can enter in any information we want, attach documents or files. We can even have a comments section here. So if we have questions going back and forth about the selection for cabinets on this job, we can have those organized. And then finally, what's great about this is that we can actually pull up the final choice and make a signature here to say, yes, that's the Kitchen Craft MDF white cabinets I wanted. Those are the exact ones I picked out when I went to Joe's Cabinet Shop, so we are good to go. So not only is it confirming on all sides before anything gets ordered that those are the exact specs, colors, finishes that we need, but a year from now or 2 years from now, this empowers your client just to log in and see the color of the kitchen island cabinet without having to call you guys to get it. They feel like they're getting great customer service because you can keep their client portal open to them for as long as you want. So on average, we find our clients who start using Buildertrend, because you can save so many of these phone calls and unnecessary back and forth, the average client saves about 9 hours per week using our cloud-based construction company. And so if you add some of that up, you know, what 9 hours of your time as a business owner is, or as an employee, or for payroll, or just for peace of mind, that adds up to a pretty good ROI for a lot of our clients. So a lot of the cool features out there that focus on the financial part of your system, organizing messages, giving you the ability to upload unlimited number of documents and photos, as well as just logging information that happened on the job, like this latest log here that you can draw on photos that are happening. But overall, it's just taking the things that you guys are already doing as a business and giving you one place to do those. So Chantel, that's a good overview there.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's fantastic software, Paul. It's a great way to manage your project, and I really like how you can keep your clients informed throughout the whole process. So
yeah.
They don't have all those calls back and forth, and a lot of them don't know the whole process. So this keeps them in the loop with everything. What I'd like to do now is, answer everyone's questions that they might have about the integration, about Buildertrend, about Cadsoft, so we can dive right in now to those questions. So I'm just going to pull those up. So first question. I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but which version of the software is being demonstrated? So on the Cadsoft side, I was using Envisioneer Construction Suite version 12, but the integration between Cadsoft and Buildertrend can also happen in our Building Essentials. And as far as you're concerned, Paul, Buildertrend, because you're a cloud-based system, it's always updated through the system?
Right. Yeah, there's no versions of Buildertrend whatsoever. So you're always getting a constant update to the system. So whether you sign up today or a year from now or 10 years ago, each user has the most updated current version, and those updates are happening behind the scenes in real time. So there's nothing to update or re-download.
And all the features that you showed today are available when you get Buildertrend?
Correct. It's a full suite. So there's no parts and pieces of it. You get everything. All updates come to you as a part of your monthly fee. So there's no extra fees for that at all.
Okay, great. Next question, is it possible to use Cadsoft for post-frame projects? So what I might do for that is just change, to answer that question properly, I'm just going to change presenters and make myself the presenter again so that I can show that for me. So I'm going to just make myself the presenter and I will show my screen. Okay, so I'm going to get out of the template here. And when we're looking at the walls, and we looked at the framing for those walls, and I hit display framing and it framed them, it was looking up to my under our building locations information. That's where it's going to get this framing options. So I told it that I wanted the studs to be laid out 16 inches on center with a double top plate. But if you're using post-frame construction or you're using log walls, steel framing, all of that information can be relayed in the software. So you can frame it any custom way that you want. You would just right-click in here and add any wall infill information that you have as far as the infill properties, how we're laying out the studs, what the studs are. In this case, there are poles for the pole barn, which would be equivalent to being able to show that with your post-frame. So yes, we can handle post-frame in the software. Next question. Is it possible to isolate the project analysis to one portion of the drawing? For example, what if I'm adding a room onto an existing house? I would draw the house and then add the addition onto the house, but I only want to take off the materials in the addition. Okay, so we've, like in our project that we have on my screen, maybe this is both a mix of existing and new construction, and all I want to pass over to Buildertrend is the new addition. If I select the walls that I don't want to include, I can replace those walls with a wall in our catalog called existing walls. Those walls do not quantify and they don't frame, so none of their information is going to get passed over to Buildertrend. So you can be very particular on which walls will show and won't, and that's just a property in the walls or windows or doors or all of the different objects. You can uncheck and say don't include in the quantities. So existing information can be left behind and only the new construction will be passed over. So yes, we do handle the remodel situation in the software as well. Next question. And Paul, is there anything different that you would do in Buildertrend as far as remodels and doing new construction? No?
No, yeah, the way it works for us is, a construction project is pretty much a construction project with us. So you can organize them and label them a couple different ways, and there is some customization there that your Buildertrend coach will help you with. But as far as what you were talking about, it's pretty much the same.
Okay. This is a question from a Buildertrend user that's not currently using Cadsoft. They were wondering if Cadsoft was included in their monthly fees for Buildertrend. We are two distinct companies, so Buildertrend has their set fees and Cadsoft has our set fees. So no, you don't get Cadsoft in with your Buildertrend. Wouldn't that be a nice, wonderful addition? We're two separate companies, so it is two separate bills that you would have. Can you go through the motions of entering a BIM model for an existing job? Okay, so I'm going to put this back down on my screen, and I'm going to start a new project for you just to show you the question about remodel has come up again. I'm going to click on the wall tool, and when I start drawing out the walls this time, I'm going to go through my catalog and choose existing wall. So I'm just going to pick points now and illustrate the existing home. I'm just going to pick along here. You'll notice that for the existing home that we've drawn, the color of the walls is very light gray. If I put it into framing, we won't see any framing at this point. So for our new construction, I'm going to go back up and tell it that we're putting in an addition that's going to be 2x6 construction, and it's going to be a stone wall. Now when I pick these walls, we'll be able to see the distinction right away. They pop out on our screen. They're very visual. And when I look at them in a 3D view and go to the framing mode and display the framing, only my new construction is going to frame. And because my new construction is the only part that's going to frame, that's the only information that's going to quantify and be passed over to Buildertrend. So when we're looking at the model itself and choosing the elements from the catalog, you're going to have a distinction of new elements and existing elements, and those existing elements will not quantify, and they therefore will not pass over to Buildertrend. Okay, next question. If we have our cost code set up in Buildertrend or QuickBooks, can we export to Envisioneer? How about mass updating costs in Envisioneer through a spreadsheet? So the cost codes that we have from Buildertrend, so if I come up here to Tools and Analyze and generate the project estimate, and maybe I'll get you to help me out with this one, Paul. The cost codes, are those your accounting codes?
Yeah, they can be set up a number of different ways. But yeah, they can be brought in as like a standard NAHB cost code group, or they can be brought in from what they're existingly already using in QuickBooks. So our Buildertrend team and data entry team can help them set that up any way they want.
Okay, and we have the same service on our end as well. So if it's something that we want to make sure that they're linking correctly with your Buildertrend and with your Cadsoft, and you've got some unique codes, ones that weren't part of our default catalogs either in Buildertrend or Cadsoft, we have a catalog team here as well that can help you build that new catalog to make sure that everything's updated. Okay. Sorry, I signed in late. Can updates generated in Buildertrend update some Cadsoft info? Can the info flow in both directions? So at this point, we export information out to Buildertrend, but there's not a flow backwards. So what I'm seeing here is if people want to be able to take maybe updated accounting codes and be able to pass that back into Cadsoft. I think that's what I'm getting from your question. If it's not, if you could repost the questionnaire. At this point, there's not a flow back, but that's discussions that we can have with the folks at Buildertrend to see if we can somehow make that happen in future releases. So At this point, the answer is no, we can't bring anything back from Buildertrend, but certainly an interesting idea, and we can talk to the folks at Buildertrend and see what we can do in the future.
Yeah, this is exactly that. It was phase one, which we've gotten some great feedback from our Cadsoft users, both because they love that product, and there's a lot of time saved just with this import. For some people that was hours of work that we saved with this simple import we did. So we've definitely done a good job with this phase one, but we're always looking to work with our partners like Cadsoft on more bi-directional integration. So it could be something in the future for sure.
Wonderful. Okay, the next question was, can the client view the 3D format of the proposed remodel? And the answer is yes. So if I came out here and I placed a camera, I can go inside the new proposed space and take a look around. And this wall here, this is the one that's going to be the wall between the new addition and the existing. So what we have some people do is you can absolutely remove it. If that wall is going to be removed, just delete it. So I could hit just delete on my keyboard and get rid of it. Let me just go back there. I might have gotten rid of the wrong wall. Yep, undo. I can get rid of this wall right here, and it would be gone, so that when I look out in my camera view, I now no longer have that wall. It's been removed, so I can see what the flow is going to look like. What other people have done, and I'm just going to undo to bring that wall back, is you can take that wall and you can look at its properties, and under appearance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it look like glass so that I can see where the wall was, but I can see into both sides of it. So it gives them that idea of, okay, now I can visualize where that wall was, but I can see past it. So I'm just going to go into glass here, make it just a common glass material, and click OK. So now we get that kind of ghosted look. This is where that wall is that's existing that we're going to take out. So you can see it, but you can see what it's going to look like if we look past it. So you've got that, that option there. Either remove it to show them the new tie-in, or show them that glass look so that they can visualize what it was going to be. Okay, next question. How involved is it to integrate codes from Cadsoft to Buildertrend? So if we have our codes that we've passed over to you, Paul, can you, maybe I can make you the presenter and you can show how you can integrate those codes again and do that mapping for them?
Sure, yeah, just go ahead and open up the Mac version of me there, and I'll show you guys. It's really simple.
Okay, so we're going back to Paul's screen, and he's going to show us and answer the question, how do you take the codes that are coming from Cadsoft and integrate them into Buildertrend?
Yes, so it's actually really simple. So the first thing is that you're going to have a Buildertrend coach, and it's one of the best parts of you having access to Buildertrend is that this coach will be there for you for all things that are sort of second tier when it comes to data entry. So if you don't want to manually try to figure out through our help center how to upload cost codes, you would just reach out to your coach and they would do it for you. You can see here with the setup though, you're going to have basically an area for your cost codes and catalogs. They're going to allow you to import those things and match up what you're doing with Cadsoft. But the best answer is that if we want to make sure we're using apples to apples and talking the same language when it comes to cost codes and numerical values here, you can do that both within Buildertrend and our cost code setup yourself. I can add a new one, or I can even edit the ones I have, or you can just lean on your Buildertrend coach. You get unlimited training support time with us. They're available all day long for you guys, and they can do some of that stuff for you. But if you can export out of Cadsoft, you'll be able to easily import into Buildertrend, and that would simply take, a matter of hours or a day. Really, really quick.
Wonderful. Thanks, Paul. Next question is regarding change orders. Will it update the construction drawings in Cadsoft? So I'll let you deal with that first, Paul, since we're looking at you, and you can show everyone how you handle change orders here, and I'll show you how we can update the model and the construction drawings in Envisioneer.
Yeah, so again, back to Chantel's answer, there is not a bi-directional integration. So really, we're just taking the units, the quantity, the information that you built in the original, and we're bringing it into Buildertrend from Cadsoft for that original estimate. Now, as it relates to accounting for change orders, you can see here that if I go to the client side and I look at all my change orders, I'm going to see that I have a couple of change orders waiting my approval, and then I have about 5 here that I've already approved, for a total of $50,000. And so I'm going to have what's called a contract price in Buildertrend. That's that original thing that we agreed to between builder and client. I'm going to see all of my change orders, both positive and negative, all of my overages or credits in my selection sheet to give me a financial statement that's always accurate for the information in Buildertrend. As it relates to updating your drawing in Cadsoft, again, we don't have any automatic integration back there, but we do give you a ton of options as it relates to getting notified of when a change order is approved and allowing any stakeholder, a designer in your company, a designer outside of your company, somebody who handles the Cadsoft, to get notified right away that on the cell phone, we've got a change order that has added a skylight. We need to add that to the CAD drawing, and then you guys can do that in the Cadsoft software.
Yeah, so I'll flip it back over to my screen right now so that I can show you how we would handle that on our end. So I'm just going to show my screen again, and I'm just going to put a roof on our structure. So we have this roof on, we've got our plan drawn, we've went ahead and started creating our construction drawing. So I'm just going to define the plan view here, bring it out onto a drawing sheet to be printed out. And once I've got that inserted onto my sheet now, our client comes back and says, just like Paul said, oh, you know what, I'm going to need a skylight. So I'm going to go back to my model. I'm going to go to the roof, choose skylight, and insert a skylight. Now, the drawings that I've created are reflective of what I've inserted, but I can say globally update the smart views, and it'll look back to the model, add in that skylight, and then you can carry on. And if you wanted to highlight that and put a revision cloud around it, you can do that, so that that is going to be flagged and it's going to match in with the change orders that you have in Buildertrend. Mm-hmm. You can put a note there to do it as well. Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, Chantel. Yeah, you'd also be able to take the PDF version of this updated plan and upload that as a document to the change order so they can get a visual about where that's going to be before they sign off on it, or just have it to the general documents within Buildertrend that you're sharing with the client as well.
Oh, that's perfect. Wonderful. Can you have subs invited to bid from imported Cadsoft drawings and takeoffs?
Yes, so the same concept there. We've got a bidding tab in Buildertrend that I can show you guys if you want to, but that allows you to attach the different plans and documents that you have in Cadsoft to actually a bid invite. So let's say, for instance, that I wanted to bid out the home we were working on earlier, the framing package with 3 different framers or suppliers. I can actually create a bid package within that job, within Buildertrend, send it to the correct subs and vendors that I want to bid, and I can attach the appropriate documents from Cadsoft for them to review. So that would all be done within Buildertrend, but you can then grab information from Cadsoft in the way of documents to attach to those bid requests.
That's great. Wonderful. So the next one then, I'm going to go to the next question. Would you be able to add specific branded products to your CAD? For example, if I use CertainTeed's Main Street collection for siding, would I be able to reflect the exact product in Envisioneer? Yes, you would. So when we're looking back out at our model, we can have exact manufacturer products there. So if I went into my doors, I could insert manufactured doors in here, or windows if I was using Anderson windows or CertainTeed siding. We have a series of catalog content that is branded for different manufacturers, and you can find that up on our website. And that can be imported into our catalog depending on the manufacturer that you're using. Now, if you're using perhaps, Joe's Window, great local guy, makes his own windows, he's not national, he's just in your region, you probably won't find him in our catalog content, but you really want to use him. So there's nothing stopping you from creating and adding a new window in and giving it all the descriptive values that you need for Joe's window. So you've got Joe window, it's a 24 by 36 inch window or 36 inch window. It's a fixed window, and we'll say 24, 36, and just giving it all of those properties that Joe's window would have. And on that last quantity tab, that's where it's going to be important here to have the right part number, so that it's going to link up with what actual Joe's Windows part number is. So yes, you can bring in catalog content, and if you're using a smaller regional client, then you can even manipulate the catalog to reflect their information as well. Okay.
Yeah. And from the Buildertrend perspective, you can do the exact same thing within our catalog of items. So for instance, I could have 4 different gelled windows in there, specified unit cost for all those windows with a markup. We could mirror that in Cadsoft. Again, that would be done with the help of initially with our data entry team, which is all included, and it's really easy to edit as things change as well.
Wonderful. Okay, so next question. I'm already using Buildertrend. Could we integrate with Cadsoft for remodeling and building estimates with this integration? Is there a way to select specific finished materials without selecting basic structural items? And I think we just covered that in that last question too. So yes, you can get very specific on who's the manufacturer, who even is the supplier. We can put that information into our catalog as well. And then just like Paul said, they've got a catalog of different manufacturers as well, and we can get those all integrated together when you pass the information over. Here's a question. Is this guy one of the founders of Buildertrend? Are you, Paul?
No, I'm not one of the founders of Buildertrend. But I was the first employee that so many years ago, so very close.
Wonderful. I think they recognize all of your product knowledge and wondering if you were the founder.
Yeah, I think my voice is on most of the videos. So if you're annoyed by that voice, I apologize. But no, not the founder.
Are there databases available that will enter the pricing by zip code? Now, for Cadsoft, we don't go by zip code. We ship all around the world. We're actually available in 4 different languages. So we don't go by zip code because we are an international product as well. But do you have any information on your end, Paul, about pricing tables or anything like that? Do you bring in regional pricing?
No, we don't bring in regional pricing. Again, your pricing, cost code and catalog for Joe's Custom Homes is going to be just for you. So let's say that you sign up for Buildertrend out of Omaha, Nebraska, where we're based out of. We don't have an Omaha, Nebraska pricing list compared to a Louisville, Kentucky, or an Ottawa, Canada. We don't have anything like that, but the pricing list that you do come up with, that you have on your own or that you get from somebody else, can be imported to be your own personal pricing, but we don't provide that on a location type.
Wonderful. Okay. I'm just looking at all the questions we still have, Paul, and we've probably got 20 questions still to go. Yeah. I'm wondering, I'm looking at your time. Yeah, we're very popular. I'm looking at your time. I've got an extra 15 minutes that I can spend, but if you don't, what we can do is we can wrap this up and we can individually answer questions as well by email, because everybody did log in through their email address. How much time do you have, Paul, to spare for everyone?
I'm here for you guys, so I got 15 minutes for sure. I think my hard out's going to be in 30 minutes, but I got 15.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. So let's keep going, power through. Thank you, Paul, for being so gracious with your time today. Let's power through and answer as many of these as we can. Mm-hmm. Is pricing included in the price paid for Buildertrend, or is there an extra fee?
For like the Cadsoft integration? No, there's no extra fee for the integration with Cadsoft. So if you're paying for Buildertrend, and I can speak to the different ways we get to a price point for different companies. There's just a couple different factors, but it's a monthly fee. Everything's month to month. There's no upfront cost. There's no contract, so you can stop using it anytime you want. But that monthly fee will include the integration with Cadsoft, so there's no additional fees on top of that.
And I just want to reiterate, just in case someone came in later, Cadsoft is a separate company, so there will be fees for Cadsoft. There will be fees for Buildertrend. We do have separate companies, so therefore separate fees, but the integration between the two, if you do own both products, is absolutely free. Next question, can you show a demo for a bathroom remodel in an existing house? Okay, so if I use the design that's already on our screen, I'm just going to go to quickly fill it in, and then I will move it around, but I'm going to use our bathroom builder. So I'm just going to, it just quickly gives us a layout because we're dealing with a time increment here. So I would give it a basic layout of how I want the items to be laid out on the screen. So I would pick one of those. And then I would pick the materials for the shower. And then my vanity, I'll just use a 33-inch vanity, a basic one here to get us going. And then the final rotation on the screen, it gives me a little visual of how everything's going to look. And then finish, and then I just bring it in and pick my insertion point for that. So I'm just going to bring it in from this corner right here, and then, oh, I'm just going to build it out a little wrong there, but I got the items here. Yes, that's fine. And then I've got my items. I'm just going to move them into position because I went outside the walls, just trying to be too quick here. So I've got all of my items in here. So let me just grab them and move in the vanity for that. Select all similar and move and get them into the room. So now I've got the items into the room itself, so I can move those around or switch them. So if I wanted a different tub in this remodel, I could right click and say replace this tub, and maybe now they're looking at upgrading to a clawfoot tub. So I'll replace it and move it where I will into the plan. And I can rotate it onto any angle that I want. So if they want it onto some custom angle, I can turn on my angle snap and snap into that. So yes, you can do bathroom remodels, and all of that information, that clawfoot tub and everything is going to have all of the codes that we're going to be able to pass over to Buildertrend as well. Okay, our next question. Where can I get pricing information for Cadsoft? If you go up to our website, www.cadsoft.com, you'll be able to find all of our pricing up on our website. So if you go to the little hamburger menu on the side and look at our products, you'll be able to see Building Essentials and Construction Suite. These are the two packages that will link up with your Buildertrend. So you want to look at those specifically, and then their pricing will be available on that page of our website. Next question. What are your thoughts on Google SketchUp versus Cadsoft Envisioneer? Well, you know I'm going to be a little biased there. Google SketchUp, we actually have an integration with SketchUp as well. So any objects that you've created in Google SketchUp can be brought into Envisioneer. So if you've created a really great table or a chair or a cabinet, those individual pieces can be brought into Envisioneer. The added bonus of Envisioneer as a specific product being used for home building is that when you're building those walls and drawing those walls, it's framing them automatically for you. It's quantifying them automatically for you. It's exporting that information out to Buildertrend automatically for you. You're not just doing scale massing like you would in SketchUp, which is great for furniture pieces, cabinet pieces, but for the whole home environment, because Envisioneer is focused on that industry, it really gives you that added bonus of materials. But that's my 2 cents. What cost code system is embedded in Cadsoft? So when you're looking at Envisioneer and our cost coding, if I look at the information under a quantity tab, we break it down into divisions. So if you look at the construction standard divisions, we follow that coding system. But then as far as the cost codes, we leave our costing at 0 because we recognize we're an international product, and what you're going to pay for a 2x4, they're not going to pay the same price in Australia for that metric equivalent. So we do leave all the prices at 0, recognizing that we have prices coming in from all over the world. Next question. Are you able to upload catalogs from specific vendors to Cadsoft? And I think we did cover that in an earlier question and I hope that answered it for you, and this was posted before that. Under a help pull-down menu, you can go to browse for more catalog content where we do have specific manufacturers, or you can build your own content as well. Is that the same for adding on an additional roof? Is there an existing roof selection? Okay, so this must be dealing with remodels again. So the question was, is it the same for roofs? How can I do an existing and a new construction for the roof to pass that over to Buildertrend? So right now this is one continuous roof, so it sees itself all as new construction. But if I convert this roof into surfaces, and I'll make it into a framed roof of asphalt shingles. Now each piece is individual, so I can grab these 3 pieces here and look at their properties and make sure under the quantity that these sections are not included in the quantities, just this portion over here is. So yes, there is an existing and a new construction option for the roofs as well. Okay, next question. What about VR integration? VR is integrated right into Envisioneer. If I come up to View and go into our presentation mode, the presentation mode takes you right into a VR environment. So if you have an Oculus Rift or a HTC Vive unit attached to your computer, you can immediately go into that immersive VR environment. If you don't want to invest in the Oculus or the HTC Vive equipment, we do have the ability to export out panoramic views that would go to your phone. So if you went up to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, you'll be able to download our VR app, the Envisioneer VR app, and models that you create in Envisioneer can be pushed to the phone so that they can create panoramic views. And if I take you out to our website again at www.cadsoft.com, we have a VR page. And on our VR page, we have an example of one of our panoramics that you can export out from Envisioneer to the phone. So if you scroll down on our VR page, you'll notice we've got this panoramic, and I'm just moving my cursor around, and this was exported from an Envisioneer model. So you'll be able to send these panoramics to your clients as well as an immersive option if you don't have the HTC Vive or the Oculus. Can our Cadsoft camera views be exported? Yes, you can export out to a rendering farm. You can do full rendering inside of Cadsoft as well. We can create 3D visuals, and you'll find on our gallery on our website full rendering, so you can make it look photorealistic. You can tell it where you are in the world, what time of day it is, and it'll cast down the correct shades and shadows. You can also export out the views, like I've done to the panoramics, or you can export out the model in many different formats if you wanted to use an outside rendering package as well. PDF writers. I've got a question here about PDF writers. Paul, I'll answer that on our end. If you're wanting to create a PDF, you could use any number of PDF writers. Yeah, of course, Adobe, but there's also different PDF writers that you can Google. Paul, do you have any options that you prefer for a PDF writer to use in Buildertrend for the reports? Paul? I think I might have lost Paul there. But again, if you just do a generic PDF writer search on the internet, you'll be able to find great PDF writers, and I'm sure that they would be compatible with Buildertrend as well. I want to be able to use 3D renderings for marketing materials, and then you can export those out, all of the renderings that we've created as JPEGs or bitmaps. I'm not sure if you've already covered this question. Hi, can you show us how to add catalogs, specifically plants? And can I open a plan from AutoCAD in Envisioneer Cadsoft? Yes, you can bring in AutoCAD files directly into Envisioneer. When you're in Envisioneer and I go to our import option here, I can import PDF files, CAD files, DWG and DXF. Objects created in SketchUp or 3D Studio can also be brought in as well. So you've got lots of import capabilities there. And again, the PDF writer is of your choice. Adobe is the writer and the creator. It works very well as a choice. Can I open a plan from a Cadsoft and Envisioneer? I think that answers all of our questions, Paul.
Yeah, I actually got kicked out of the audio, and now I'm back. So if I missed anything, I apologize.
Not a problem. There was just a question about PDF writers. So I gave them the option that, you know, Adobe's obviously the original maker of the PDF file. They have the Adobe PDF writer, but there's lots of different choices up there. There's PDF 995 that you can use.
Yeah.
Is there any choices that you guys recommend over at Buildertrend for a PDF writer for your documents?
Not at all. You know, Adobe is fine with those. Really, it's anything that the user wants to use. And, you know, as you mentioned, there's more and more out there. So it's really anything that you guys can get it into a PDF. You know, as it relates to Buildertrend, any type of file can be uploaded or attached to any part of the system. And if we don't necessarily have that type of file yet, because you've come up with something new we've never seen before, we can add that file type as well. So it's pretty flexible.
Wonderful. Good to hear. Well, that does bring us to the end of the time that we have together. If there are additional questions that have been posted, what I'll do is I'll make sure that we answer them individually for you. We'll send you out an email so that we can answer them for you. Obviously, this has been a very popular webinar. Everybody's excited about the integration between Cadsoft and Buildertrend and their project management and just the ability to keep their clients informed. So if you have any additional questions, make sure you contact us and we'll be able to answer those for you. We've recorded this session and it will be up on the Cadsoft YouTube channel for you to view, and we'll be also passing it over to our friends at Buildertrend so they can distribute it as well. So Paul, first of all, I want to thank you very much for your time today. It was very informative for our clients, and I'm sure everyone enjoyed your presentation.
Oh, you're very welcome. I really appreciate being invited on. Obviously, you did an amazing job, and Cadsoft's a really, really cool system that I learned so much today about. So thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. And thanks, everyone, again, for taking the time to join us for the webinar and staying this long into a webinar. It's been fantastic. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay.